Hello everyone. Sorry it's been so long. Can't even remember what the last video was about, so I'll just go over the whole thing, where I'm at now. It's been pretty productive. I'm excited about where we're at, getting close to driving it out of the shop. Just got one more thing to do before I could drive it. Again, there's a lot more to do before I'd want to go anywhere with it, but at least I can get it out of the shop so I can work on other things. So, all this stuff is done other than pressure testing the AC. And it can't get pressure tested until I hook up the accumulator or whatever is in the engine bay. I'll show you that here in a sec. This is all back together. It's all done. And I could put the grill on, the headlights and all that once I do the pressure test. So I don't want to button up till I do that. I've started putting in all the aluminum floor pan, I guess is what I'll call it. Utilizing some difficult to get to space there. So I've got panels that you get to from the wheel well. It'll be semi warm, at least in the winter time, because they'll have hot water flowing through that from the hydronic. The hydronic gets mounted here and exhausts along with the engine exhaust up through the fitting there. So you can see that's all together. I got a gasket in there in between at the flange, because it's not. First of all, I warped it a little bit when I was welding it. So I kind of flattened it, but it ain't going to be an airtight seal by any means. So now it's got a silicone gasket, and the hydronic will get the same thing. And the entire thing's going to get wrapped with a shroud, which will open to this space, which this door has louvers in it. So this whole space is vented. So I don't think I'm going to have a carbon monoxide problem. You can see that's all hooked up. The exhaust is in all the way through. So that part's done. Yeah, foam panel is going to sit right down in here. It'll be flush with this surface. And then foam panel, I'm talking about that structural foam panel thing out there. And then it'll also get set down on this, run all the way back. The bed's in the back. The water tank is here. It's got its water connections, hot water connections there for keeping it thawed. And that hot water is going to flow through here. So that'll keep it warm in this area. This area I may just leave cold, except I may end up putting a heater over here. This heat exchanger is going to go over there. That's where my passenger heating is going to be. And I kind of thought I'd rather have the blower up there rather than back here, because the bed goes here, and in the middle of the night, you don't want the blower kicking on right here. If it kicks on back there, and that whole thing's going to be insulated because it's going to be underneath the foam panel that goes across, and then there'll be foam here, and then I'll foam it in as well. So it's its own little insulated space. There's nothing, if it freezes, it's fine. There's nothing in there that could be harmed by freezing. But in the winter, I think I'd want to keep that above outdoor temperature for humidity purposes. So anyway, fan up there, heat exchanger up there, plus the passenger compartment, like the back seat heater for while the engine's running and we're driving. All that stuff's going to live down there underneath that floor. And then I'll access it by going through that big open rectangle. There is going to get an access point, so you could get to that equipment if you needed to. Or when you need to in the future, because I'm sure you will. Man, yeah, I think that's it. I got to finish socking that in, cut a door there, cut a door there. And then I can spray foam everything that's going to be below the level of the deck. Because once I lay the deck on, I can't get to it. So I want to have the doors done, the foam in, this substructure finished. I'm going to put a couple of braces that go back this way because I don't want the ends of that foam panel out there floating. So that needs to get tied in that corner somehow with something to hold it up, which will probably be an extension, tied into the brace that's part of the door right there. So I think that's it. Oh, maybe the heater stuff up front. I ended up running heater control valves, fluid control valves for the two air conditioning heater cores. There's one back in there, and then there's this one here. The air is going to come through the evaporator, split, and then go down through the cores and then up, and then can come out heater vents that I'll cut into there. It can go out the the defrost, or I'll probably put some kind of vent right in here. I may, if I can fit it and decide to, I can put like a diverter where if you turn it on AC, you could open up, maybe if I got room, I could put one big vent right here or two vents that you could point, and then the cold air coming through the evaporator would come right out here and not even go down through that stuff. So kind of like a max AC setting. It's all manual. So I was going to run dampers in all this space with the servos from the stock servos from the truck, which are these guys, and then run a damper that would either direct air down or bypass the heater core. That's how Chevy does it. But when I'm doing my engine preheat circuit, where the diesel hydronic is going to send hot water to a heat exchanger that'll be down in here, and then I need to pump it. So I have an auxiliary water pump, little electric water pump for the diesel engine coolant circuit. It's going to pump it through. But if I've got a heater core here, the engine block, and another heater core there for the passenger heat, I'm going to be pumping fluid in a 4 parallel circuit, and roughly 25% is going to go through the engine. That's not very efficient. So I decided to run manual, well, fluid shutoff valves. So that's what these guys are. So that's going to shut fluid off to that heater core, and then this one shuts off fluid to that heater core. So I can just take these servos, make a mount, put a linkage in there, connect it to that, and you'll still be able to use the dials to increase or decrease temperature, and you're going to do it by throttling fluid. And then the one back here will probably get a manual one, just a push-pull cable thing. That way I can shut all these valves. When I push the engine preheat button, it'll kick the furnace on, start pumping hot water from the furnace through the heat exchanger right here, plate heat exchanger. It'll pump it through there, and then the auxiliary pump will start pumping fluid through the heater hose that it's tied into down here. A little electric pump will push it through the engine block. I'll probably put a temperature switch, thermostat somewhere, so it would shut it off when it gets to a temperature, and then maybe you just hit a button to start the cycle. It turns everything on, keeps it on for a time limit, like a 30-minute time limit, so you don't accidentally leave it on, and just preheat the engine. Because I took off the engine air intake preheater, and the diesel intake or the diesel fuel heater is gone. So I'd really like to make sure the block is heated before we start it, because we are going to use it in the winter. So trying to set it up that way. I still haven't gotten back to doing my spray up here for the sound deadening and heat. Just haven't got there. I've been focused on getting the exhaust and this part done. So I have to get it out of here so I can fix my wife's truck. So that was the deal I made. Got to get it drivable before I can move your truck in here and fix it. Trying to leverage time. So that's where I'm at. It's coming along. Won't be long. I'll be driving it soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.